Hello, welcome to Project Marlin once again, and I hope everybody's had a nice Christmas. Sort of in the run up to the new year now. I've got some video that I filmed a couple of weeks ago, well about a week ago, that I haven't put up, which is, it follows on from Woes, actually having a look at the air valves, or the air valve and the air dryer. I have done some more since Christmas, however that's going to go out in a later video. But if you saw my post on Facebook, if you follow the Facebook page for Project Marlin, you'll see that the Marlin got some presents, one of which I don't have with me because I've already fitted. It's only a small thing, but you'll see that. One of the things was something I bought. Don't really need it at the moment, but it's obsolete. I was very lucky to find it one new, so I'll just show you what that is. Yeah, I have a new flashing light for the back of it. There should be two on the back. There's one there that currently doesn't spin, and yeah, it turns out that Hella don't make these anymore. You still get the lenses and a couple of parts for them, but you can't get a complete unit. And I managed to get this one from Germany, so I saw it for sale and I bought it in a bit of a hurry. More worried about the fact that if somebody buys it and I can't get one, I don't know what I'd do. I'd have to think of some other way of putting lights on the back. The other present, which was actually, it was bought by my other half, so thank you very much, Joe, is another flashing beacon. This one is your usual amber beacon. Well, I say usual, it's actually quite an unusual amber beacon. It doesn't look very special. If we get it out, looks like a fairly normal, in fact it looks, in my experience, like a strobe beacon. You've got the strobe style reflector inside. However, I don't know if you can actually see up in the end there very well, it has a bulb, a normal bulb. In fact, it appears to be a 21 watt bulb, and the reason being is because the Marlin is an airport fire engine, you're not supposed to use rotating amber beacons or strobe amber beacons. You have to have what's called a static flash, which is where the light, if you ever go to the airport, you look out, you'll see the ground vehicles running around, and the light will come on and go off, and come on and go off, a bit like a very slow indicator. That's called a static flash beacon. Although the Marlin isn't going to be used on an airport again, or at least not as long as I own, I would have thought, it is the right sort of beacon for it. It is a very nearly direct replacement for the one that's on there that's broken currently. And taking it down the road, it would make sense to have some sort of warning beacon. Technically, static flash aren't really for road use. It should be a flashing beacon or a strobe or an LED one. However, I'm not going to buy, at the moment I'm not planning on buying two beacons and swapping them over. This one's going to go on. Anyway, I've digressed slightly as usual. We're going to have a look at myself in the garage taking the protection valve apart. There's a bit of an explanation about the protection valve after, and then I will show you my attempts to take the air dryer to pieces to service that, and after you've seen all that, I'll come back and I'll let you know exactly where we're up to on that score. Okay, so got the air valve. It is I always get the pronunciation wrong, an Bremsis KY161. Oh no, it's not. It's a KY1671/1, which, excuse my voice, I'm coming down with the plague at the moment. The particular valve is a sort of diverter valve. I've seen it called a protection valve, I've seen it called a couple other things, but in my mind it's a priority valve. So that's what decides what gets the air first. So I'm just trying to find a screwdriver. I've left my big one over at the farm where the truck is. You can probably see everything's a bit damp in this garage. It's a bit of a pain. But I suppose first things first, these two are red outlets. This is my blue one. So I'm assuming there's 4 valves here. It seems to leak as well, but I'm not sure if it's down from there or I think it's out from where the circlip is. Let's see if we can get one of these out and have a look. See. That's coming undone. It's nice. What I'll do, rather than bore you with the entire thing, we'll have a look under here. I'll take the other bits out without the camera recording. Once we've got it all apart, then we'll have a look at all of the bits. And when I take this out, I'll see if I can do that on camera as well. Just otherwise, it's going to be a really long video of me undoing lots of screws, swearing possibly. I found a local-ish place that does spare parts. They're listed on Knorr-Bremse website as a aftermarket parts dealer. Okay. Right, I need something to tap that gently with. I'll use this. I do some lead moulding in my spare time, which is why I keep a rolling pin in the garage. There we go. So we have, yeah, okay, don't know what that is. Got an O-ring there. Yeah, so, what is that? Oh, that's better. So we've got this thing. Might be this is not changeable. There's a rubber seal there. Push it doesn't seem to be on. I did read somewhere something about 10 bar. It actually says Bendix on it. There's a part number there as well. Can you see that on the video? Maybe. Anyway, so the part number is KW3921-2. So that's that valve. I'll see if they're all the same. What I'll do, I'll have a look bit. What's out of focus again? I'll have a bit more of a look at this, and when I've got some more bits out, we will go from there. Before we find the stop button. Oh dear. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. This is the one next to it, and this bit actually is out and it moves, whereas the first one I took out, if I just, you can see it's actually jammed in. So, whoops, there we go. One day I'm going to buy a camera that auto focuses, and this will be a lot easier. So yeah, I think this one might be stuck. I'm going to take the other 2 out and have a look. I'll try and free this one up, and yeah, that might be an easy fix. So yeah, we'll pull the others out and see what happens. I still can't find the off button. Where is it? Right, okay, so I've got the other 2 out. Let's see if we get the focus sorted. There we go. So this one, the rubber seal's popped out of it, or is not fitted in it, and the whole thing is stuck out and jammed. So yeah, I don't know which one's supposed to be right. That came out of one side. This bit's all the way in, but again the rubber seal has popped out of it. It's quite corroded. I'm going to have a quick look on this net, because they've all got the same part number on. If they're cheap and available, I'll just get 4 new ones to put in the housing. If they're not cheap and available, I'll try and work out what I can do to make them work again, or work out how they're supposed to work, so we can get them back together again. So we'll have a look at that. I'm just going to take the circlip out and see what's under there now. May as well keep going now I've got it apart. Okay, so that's what's under the circle. There's a little bit that goes in here, one goes in here, so it's basically a spring with a little rubber ball on the end. I'll just show, it's basically this. Oh yeah, that is in focus. So that goes in there, seals the little airway. Let's have a quick look at that. So yeah, it is basically a priority valve. That comes in, and it appears. Excuse me. Oh, days. It's coming to these two first. I don't know how it works. I was going to try and work it out. It doesn't work because it's broken. I need to go and see if I can get a rebuild kit for it or something. So yeah, not sure. Gonna have a think about this, and I'll let you know what I come up with in a couple of minutes. So basically, what I've done, I've got all the plungers out. I've run around with a soft brass brush on the Dremel, cleaned up the cylinders they sit into, cleaned up the outside of them, basically cleaned it all up. I've run a very thin smear of grease around to lubricate them because the one that was free had a little bit of grease on it, and they're all springing, they're all moving nicely, and I've put it back together again. I will, when I go to the truck parts place to get bits for the air dryer, I will go and inquire about the cost of a complete new unit or the possibility of just new plungers. These pieces, so I think they're a service item, but for now we'll chuck it back on the truck and hopefully it'll work. You might think, well, why are you putting it back on the truck if you're not sure, and why wouldn't you just buy a new one? Well, at the moment the finances are a little bit tight for new parts, so if I don't need to put a new part on now, I can get something working, then great. And at the moment it's more about trying to fix things to get things to work, to be able to diagnose the other problems, hoping in at some point in the not too distant future, maybe next year, the year after, maybe a couple of years, I'll be in a position to overhaul it to a much higher standard. At the moment it's more to do with maintenance, getting it back running, getting it back on the road. In the future I'll then want to do more of an in-depth overhaul on it. In an ideal world, if I could afford to, I'd like to strip it down to the chassis and start again and totally rebuild it nut and bolt, but I don't have that sort of cash, and I certainly don't have the facilities to be able to do that at the moment. I've got the knowledge to do it, I think, I'd like to think, but it's all down to facilities. So I'm going to take this out the vents. I'm going to take this out of the vise, put it to one side, and I'm going to get the air dryer up on the bench, and we'll have a look at dismantling that to see what the cartridge inside it's like. Okay, this diagram here is a diagram I found on the internet explaining how the air valve I got works. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar. It's actually a thumbnail from a video on YouTube. I will put a link to it. The only problem that I've got with the video is the fact that all of the explanation is done in Arabic subtitles, and there's no voice. But it does sort of, if you understand a little bit about how these valves work, it will give you a bit of an idea. So basically, if you see my pointer, the air comes in from the air dryer here, comes in and goes through these two little shuttle ports that have got tiny little springs. They're the two little black ones on the front of mine, you've seen when I've taken it apart. They help fast fill the air tanks.
for the brakes. So this one here, 22 and 21, will be going to your foot brakes. These two valves here that are open, they open first, which allow those to charge first. Once the pressure starts to build up and you get a bit of back pressure, the air will come down the middle here and it will go and unseat 23 and 24, which in my case charges my, what does it charge? It charges my auxiliary tank, and it also charges my handbrake, secondary brake tank. Now, obviously, you've seen the video of me taking the thing to pieces, and hopefully putting it back together again and saying it's okay. Since then, I've recorded some more video. Won't be going out in this video. It'll be going out probably next week, where I've actually done some. I've refitted the valve, and the valve is actually now working as it should do. When we took it apart, one valve was stuck open like this for the foot brake. One valve was moving freely. On the bottom, both of the valves were one was stuck open and one was stuck very nearly shut, which is the problem I was having. The idea of these is, should you get a catastrophic failure on one of your pipes going to your air tanks, it will seal and allow the other tanks to charge. So it's supposed to stop you losing all of your pressure. That's how I understand it from what I've read on our website. But the video this is, I will put a link to it at the end of the video, so you can have a look. And if anybody can translate it for me, I'd be quite interested to know what it says.
Right. Oh my god. I don't know what I'm hoping, to be honest. I've got 3 screws here, but there appears to be a big old spring clip as well. So I'm hoping if I get this out, I'll be able to pull it out, and there'll be a desiccant cartridge inside. I'm not going to disturb these unless I have to. That I think is a blow off safety valve. I don't want to disturb that. There's another port there, and that just looks like a port at the top. So to get sockets. Oh, let's go old school, shall we? No. What have I done with that? There we go. That's spanners. No impact gun here, although, can you see it? Yeah. The impact gun had to come out on that valve. One of the screws was corroded in to a certain extent, and although I'm not a big fan of impact guns on things that are stuck, sometimes the vibration from them can be enough just to push something free. So, especially steel into aluminium, you've got to be careful you don't strip the threads, but the bit of vibration can just be enough to break the corrosion sometimes. So that was quite a useful thing. Probably notice my bench isn't the most tidiest place at the moment. There's a lot going on in here. I've been doing bits and pieces. The garage needs quite a heavy tidy up. I do things for a couple of other hobbies, one of which I won't mention on this channel. I do have another channel that has a video related to it. It's also related to my lead casting, but it's the sort of thing that YouTube doesn't like particularly, so I don't want it knocking this channel down because of it. Okay, so that's the 3 retaining screws out. There seems to be a big spring clip in the bottom of here, and there is a place there I can wedge a screwdriver in. If I just look around, I can get to my other toolbox, because I have several toolboxes in here. Not always the easiest to get to currently. I've got to squeeze past my rotivator.
it made sense to me when I was having a sort out to move things to different toolboxes and keep my screwdrivers in one box, because I can keep them all together, and spanners in another box and all that. But what it actually is a nuisance. So I'll just turn this over, just that way up. A bit worried I'm going to wipe that out, so let's see if I can get a spanner on there and whip that off so I don't break it, because that'd be just like me. Not 10. No, it's a 12. Not really. No, it's not. Right, we'll stop right there. Oh, that might be a good shout. Okay. I'm sorry about all the coughing. No, that's no good. I'll have to just try it anyway. Yeah, so it's definitely not 11. Means it could be Imperial. So what I'm going to do, because my box with Imperial stuff in is all buried at the moment, I'll use the oh, look at that. Oh, I used a metric one. That's no good. I did work with a gentleman once upon a time, and because this one doesn't, but some adjustables. Here we go. I'm sure you know this, because if you're watching this, you're mechanically inclined, I would have thought. Got 200mm there, 10" on there, and we convinced him that one like that only had millimeters on was a metric, and it was no good, and we needed an Imperial adjustable. We also see the batteries going flat, so I'm going to end it here. I'll try and get the spring clip out, and I'll go and get another battery for the camera. Right, okay. I've got a new battery in. What I've managed to do is get this big spring clip slightly out. There's a bulge here, so I knocked it round so it was more in line. I've got this screwdriver under it, and with this screwdriver worked it out. I've got it so far, and I thought I'll let you lot have a laugh, because I'm going to crap my pants when this comes out, because they normally come out with a bit of a ping, and I hate them. I hate these things. You think circlips are bad? If you've never done a giant circlip or a giant spring clip, you've never lived. Horrible bleeding things. Anyway, I should stop being rude about them. They're lovely things. I like them a lot. And hopefully it'll be a bit forgiving when it comes out, because I have seen them launch. Worse than that, a lot worse than that. So let's just zoom out a little bit. Oops, so easy. There's your great big spring clip. That's what holds the air dryer in. Well, he says that's what holds your air dryer in. That's what I thought held it in. Maybe I do take all these out. Right, that's not really interesting. I see a bit of movement, but not a lot. Where's that big screwdriver again? I'll take that. This is a silencer on the bottom. Focused. This is the silencer. I say the silencer. That's well rusted, isn't it? We'll try this one again then. Yeah, a little bit of vibration can break quite a lot of corrosion off. Oh, so that is just basically a piece of rubber, metal plate there. You just must take the rust of the out of it. Oh. Wow. What I can tell you is, oh, there isn't that in there. Okay. Now, what do you reckon? Do you reckon it's these that are holding it in, or do you reckon it's something up the end there, or is it the bit on top? I'm going to say, actually, it's possibly this. Now, it's going to be quite hard, I think, to go and do. Yeah, let's try a real spanner on it, shall we? Not that I believe it's going to help, but it can't make it any worse, can it? Now, I know there's going to be people out there wincing when I do this. And you're right, Duke, it's not working. Maybe if we can get just that little one out the end. Right, I'm going to come back to this because this is going to get boring. Right, I don't know if you see, but yeah, there's quite a lot of water in that hairdryer. There we go. Get some more out. There's the O-ring. This is the bottom of it. I was expecting there to be a labyrinth in there, but there's not. So, yeah, don't know about that. There's obviously some sort of valve and some switch, but yeah, I have no idea. There's a bolt in there which I'm going to undo and take out the desiccant cartridges. Desiccant cartridge. I can say it. I can't focus on it though. There we go. So yeah, bolt in there. I'll just get a socket and whip that out. Yeah, open up the right way up. Whoops. I reckon that could be not that size. Yeah, it's that big. Because it's been in there a while, I suspect it's really rusty. I'm going to use a bar, so I'll undo that and we'll come back again. So, yeah, there's desiccant in there. Not quite expecting it to do that. It's got that nice little stainless steel mesh, which I think is to trap oil. And oh, this is going to make a mess. Do you know what? Make a mess at shall do. Let's see if I can just do it that way. Why is that stuck? What's it stuck on? Right, okay.
Right, as you can see, as you've seen the bits about the air valve, you've seen the bits about the air dryer. Where I've left off with the air dryer, I came inside, did a bit more research on it. I have found that what's holding it together, there should be an O-ring inside, and it's just the grip of that O-ring that's holding it. Unfortunately, all the desiccant bag's broken up inside. I've contacted a few companies about the desiccant cartridges, and I actually had a lot of difficulty. I've now found a source in the UK that can provide me with the service parts. Knorr-Bremse, Bendix, they don't make the parts for these air dryers anymore. They don't even make the service items for them. Where I've found a supplier that can source the things for me. But what I've also found is what appears to be a new old stock item, strangely once again in Germany, for something British built, and that air dryer was only used on Dennis and Leyland buses and coaches. I found a company in Germany with one supposedly in stock. I've ordered it, haven't had any confirmations back. I've had confirmation they've received my order, but not that they've processed it. Unfortunately, it was Christmas Eve when I ordered it, so I'm not I'm not expecting to hear anything about it until the new year. So I'll keep my fingers crossed that this all goes through and it turns up, because that would be really handy. But yeah, so that's where we're up to. You might have heard me mention earlier on in the video, I have been over since Christmas. I've refitted the air valve and tested it. Now you might think that's a bit strange when I don't have a working air dryer fitted to the truck. It's because I took an air compressor over. That's for another video. It didn't work quite as well as I was hoping, but I managed to test the valve. Yeah, that's that. The only other thing I'm going to show everyone is a good friend of mine and my other half have bought me a present to keep me occupied when the weather's too bad to go out to the fire engine. So I've now got a second air-fueled fire engine to play with. And thank you very much to my other half Joe and to Jimmy for that. It's brilliant. It's got flashing lights, a siren, can even squirt water with it, although the dog and the cat don't like that so much. Thanks for watching the video. It's a little bit, I've tried to do it a little bit more technical this time, actually seeing what I'm doing. It's quite difficult to do at times because there is only me doing the filming at the moment. I'm going to try and do some videos like that, some videos a bit more like some of the others I've done. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have done, please click like, please subscribe if you haven't. Come and follow us on Facebook, and hopefully we'll see you all again soon in the new year. So good evening and good night.